Maybe we'll do a lore stream one day.
Oh, well then you have to invite me back.
Of course.
You don't have a choice if you're doing that.
Alright.
No, no hamster!
Bad news, Anya. However, we do have Momo on the Xian. And a first Ming Ming appearance.
They are continuing down the list of 5e characters. It looks like my prediction that that's their sect and they're just going to stick to it is there's something to it. We also have 4 5e characters here.
Momo, Innate Water, Fatal Concentrated Element. There you go, Senpai. The secrets have been revealed.
Ooh, water's a good one to roll, that's for sure.
We have Cultivation Genius, Xian. Unrestrained Sword, Li Jianxin. Fate of Shattered Dao, which by Snowball, which is not a fate I think I've even been offered before.
Interesting choice on the Gourd Lord, given that he gets so many exchanges.
Yeah, it's an odd one. But I'm not sure what the other options are. Also keen to see what this Ming Ming brings to the table.
I wonder if it's possible that that we might see if our 2 Gourd Lord players look and see the innate water element, they may choose to steer away from World Smash. I think that's a pretty bad matchup for World Smash because Du Linghuan is going to go first, and she can open with a Mara rhythm and then play Water Seal into dive and dive the World Smash, and that tends to win that matchup for free.
Right. That's a good point. Other one is on just My Fate, My Choice, so less options there.
Fragrant multi-hit can scale enough to stay in it against mono water.
So Snowball is actually you could... playing Formation Master Wu Jingzhe, so they'll be looking to do mono water and mono earth themselves.
Yeah, mono earth is a good way to beat mono water.
Mm-hmm.
Both people want to go long, and mono earth scales harder.
Yes.
So maybe that's the call.
Then Shadow Dao is your, I guess your tier 4 and 5. Just find as many mono element and formation masterpieces as you can get your hands on.
Fate of Shattered Dao makes more sense, I think, if you're aiming for a mono earth build, because it has a lot of gold cards it needs to find. It's really one of the most gold card heavy builds in the game. When you need 4 cards minimum between your Echo Formation and your Maro Rhythm, you need at least 1 combined worlds, preferably 2. It can be a lot.
Well, Momo is Elixirist. I guess I can use these things. So they do have access to the line that Senpai is saying. Cloud Elixir with Turbulence. Also a Fortune Teller Lu Jianxin.
So if you play Spring into Turbulent, you could in theory match the scaling of the Earth build. Spring into Turbulent is really the only way to turn water into an exponential scaling thing.
Fire Drayden saying Musician Ming Ming odd. I actually don't think it's that odd. I think Musician Ming Ming is the strongest version of the character if you can get to your late game.
I've seen it enough on ladder.
Trail's messing with you, Fire Drayden. Ming Ming's debuff used to be called Ming, and they renamed it to Styx. So now we sometimes call her Styx. It's a good joke. Here's another I want to say dying, but rare build that we don't see as much anymore. The Musician Wang Yao. I feel like this the popularity of this has dropped off a fair bit.
Yeah, when you queue up with Long Yao as a character, you kind of have like you could take it with 3 side jobs, right? And the musician end boards tend to get matchup checked the hardest. You can win a lot of matchups for free with the musician end boards. You can also lose some for free. And it's sort of an interesting call to go with the musician route because, particularly with Gourd Lords, I think you lose basically for free to the World Smashers. You certainly win for free against the water and the especially the earth mono builds.
Just to talk a little bit to musician Ming Ming. So the thing she does that the other characters don't is this debuff. It is extremely powerful to send this over to your opponent with Concentric Tune and Soul Cleaving. It pops guard up because it actually procs before the Soul Cleaving hits, which means your board just has a bunch of extra burst. You can play like much lower levels of Soul Cleaving, and the fact that you deal 6 extra damage with each hit makes it a very, very powerful board. So that's the main thing she adds. You can just ignore her tier 4 and tier 5 and just take her tier 2 and tier 3 if you need physique, and then that's it. You don't need anything else. The rest of her kit can just
one
be
other thing that Ming Ming can offer as a musician over Xiaobu, which is that she has a little bit stronger mid game, I think.
Yeah.
Xiaobu certainly has the blue build, but you have to spend down most of your rolls for it. Ming Ming might actually manage to save some until a later tier.
I often see the Ming Ming skip her tier 4 though, so I don't know that she gets that much strength, and like Gone Crazy is kind of a bad card to play when you actually need the physique if it's not healing you. So I don't know that her mid game is that much better. Her early game is a lot better because you just win a bunch of fights by going first in the first few rounds. But I usually think she still ends up hemorrhaging Destiny until tier 4, tier 5. When you're a musician, that is, because you don't really leverage the Crash Fist stuff.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a fair assessment.
The 3 extra damage to be that high, it's 6 damage, that's all cleaving. And yeah, mostly it also pops guard up before the Soul Cleaving, so guard up looks is just a much less reliable tech card. Yeah, see, like this sort of thing. I think Kindness Tune is really good. More than 6, sorry?
More than 6 with Soul Cleaving, yeah, because it's an extra stack of force for your Soul Cleaving as well.
True. It is indeed more than 6.
And you can start the match with it. You don't need to play a card to get it.
Yeah, it does a lot. I don't know if it's better than Xiaobu, but it has legs. Alright, here we see the Mudboard by Momo.
Yes, the Mudboard. You can also use it as a call out if you're expecting to fight Xiaobus, because you start concentric tuning and cleaving them the Ming. Now when they do it back to you, they heal you.
Yes, it is a very, very good mirror breaker. I think a lot of the internal injury boards of the sect come down to trying to figure out what you have that is asymmetric, and Ming Ming having the access to the Sticks debuff is definitely her edge in that matchup. Xiaobu obviously has her tier 5. G Function kind of has his tier 4 and tier 5, but you know, leveraging them I think is important.
What you say is correct, but it's worth considering that Gone Crazy actually makes up for the lack of tier 5 by playing a card. Right? Effectively, the Xiaobu tier 5 saves off the damage of internal injury 1 round by healing you for all of it. That's the same thing that Gone Crazy does, and you might actually be able to play it twice in the mirror. So Gone Crazy is a huge edge there for Ming Ming, in specifically that mirror matchup, even on an end board. So yeah, not anymore. That's true. It is capped now.
So we have a lot of Kindness Tune in this lobby, which does make for a longer game. Ming Ming and Long Yao both playing it, though. It looks like Looks like the Ming Ming is making the call that she can win. Oh no, the Banishi's still here.
很快呀，
It's at the front, right?
走
At
后
the
堂
right. It was at the beginning, and then move to the end. We get Gone Crazy value though, so that's nice. Ming Ming fully caught up on physique now.
Ooh, those were not the debuffs that they wanted to roll.
Yes, wound and attack down goes pretty bad.
At least for the mid and early game, those tend to be the worst too.
Yes. Dream hits if you're playing a soul cleaving there.
Oh, for sure, yeah, there are definitely things you want to draw later on. In the late game, the one that always messes her up is when she rolls Entangle. I think
Yes.
everyone who's played her has lost games to that at some point.
Yes. It's so unlikely that it just becomes so frustrating when it when it happens. Alright, this Nangongsheng has drawn the Water Seal. But we do not have the Wood Seal. So they actually whiffed 3 times, so this is gonna be a pretty bumpy mid game for them.
Yeah, especially, you know, tier 4, and
Hmm.
they still haven't gotten it. That's rough.
Yeah.
Did they take their Flame Soul Rebirth, since that skews how other people have to play?
Did not.
did not.
Just going pure cultivation here. Long out taking Dragon Scales here. Sitting at a relatively high amount of Destiny. Oh, immediately have this Mirror Flower. These Mirror... Jeez, these are... This is pretty intimidating.
Yes, this is a very strong board for this current round.
It's another pretty good board here.
输的人结酒钱。
These people, they love to break through.
Maybe safe to eat that kindness tune now. They're not going to be doing a lot of losing for a while.
It's pretty funny that the ignore defense here is going to just cause the Mirror Flower to deal that much more damage back to them. Not that it was
yes, it is.
not that it was ever really in doubt here.
Though the hits that followed up the Metal Spirit Penetrate were actually pretty weak. Much of the damage came from the Penetrate itself, which was on the block.
Sure. Hey, all you Ling Yuan enthusiasts taking note?
Draw Great Waves. Yeah,
Yes.
writing it in my notebook.
You have a healing elixir here that's healing for about 30. Looks like we're only taking this concentrated element on tier 5 for speed.
I suspect they would have been very happy to take it on tier 4, where they offered less advantageous things. But
That makes a
draw
lot of
2
sense.
water cards is not less advantageous thing.
No, not at all. That's exactly what you want to see. I like anytime healing elixir finds its way onto a board. It is an unbound amount of healing. Yes, Liu Jianshin is unrestrained. Unrestrained fortune teller.
Interesting.
有理了。
They're pairing unrestrained with the fortune teller board.
It's interesting that we have seen 3 unrestrains and they have always been Liu Jianshin instead of Yanshui. And Yanshui is... Yeah, Yanshui unrestrained is now, like, elevated to the point that it is a, you know, quote-unquote real build. Whereas Liu Jianshin, I don't really think has the same level of prestige associated with him with that build.
It may be the case that that is only true in the English-speaking community. Maybe the Chinese allocate the prestige differently.
There is a tsunami on this board? Wait a minute.
2 of them.
Wait a minute.
Cirque Tsunami, I would say, is quite strong on phase 4.
This is
Maybe that's your assessment also.
I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty good card to have on round 9. I'm excited to see what our Elixirist Liu Jianxin is going to be doing with it.
I wonder if that card stays on the board until the late game. They're very much angled for World Smash here, and I think they would be rolling different cards if they were trying to pivot into mono water.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, looks like almost looks like a Chinray board, right? Like a Chinray
Sure
UWF
does.
stuff, but it's a lot
Yeah.
worse on it is a lot worse.
少啰嗦，有话打完再说。
Zami's pointing out that concentrated element does not just give you concentrated element, it also lets you shows you inheritance of the element of the first card in your deck. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, inheritance of that first element is
yeah, that's a much sweeter deal.
oh yeah.
So Tsunami is obviously a ridiculous card. It is a little bit worse if you do not have great Force of Water generation, since it just kind of does like 20 damage over 2 turns.
I would say Spring World Smash counts as good enough. Force of Water generation.
Yes. Once the World Smash gets up there in levels a little bit more.
This is looking like more of an angling towards Earth than it is towards water.
I would
our
say so.
formation player.
These Tension boards, man. Yeah. Oh, Earthquake's here too. Of course. Are we just trying to like I mean, one of these is a lot better than the other.
No kidding. Huh.
It's hard to play Tsunami if your opponent Earthquakes you, I guess.
I think we're probably going to see inheritance cashed out for wood by that player based on their continued devotion to World Smash. How many treasures? Let's see. We have Earthquake, we have Tsunami. We're not counting Child Secret Seals, so I don't know if we've found any more in this particular.
I think I've seen any others. Never mind. Metal Triathlon Spear is here. So that's 3.
Oh, they did get the wood seal eventually.
Yeah. You always feel like you've been robbed when you have to use your tier 5 to draw your first wood seal, though.
Yeah, that is the case. And they still haven't hit their UWF. You could say they hit Blazing Prairie, but that was locked off the Omen, so they're probably feeling robbed right now.
Metal Triathlon Spear, it's a card that seems like it's really, really good in 5 elements, right? Like, look at it here. It's giving floor to a board that just can't floor otherwise. But the fact that it has no element and costs 2 chi actually makes it pretty hard to play in, like, a UWF board.
This, okay, there is an HHH on that board, so we're seeing Tancheon pivot into presumably what's going to be the classic HHH formation Tancheon by the end of this.
They are missing a few pieces, though. Notably, they've only got the 1 Echo form, and they don't have any Great Spirits. So,
I think it's pretty doable to just play the board like they're doing here, though.
I think so too.
HHH is just a very good tempo card if you have enough cards that say post action. And 1 Echo lets you go a long time before you have to go off script with that board.
True.
And also you can hit the second copy of HHH and use it in place of where the second Echo would normally go.
Yeah.
And then you almost don't even have to go off script. The only cost at that point is that you can't upgrade your HHHs.
So we're seeing the vision here. Clear Heart recurring, Clear Heart recurring, Clear Heart 2, sorry. With some envelops to try to shore up the things your opponent is doing.
They don't... Huh.
I don't know about this one.
That feels very slow, and it's barely offering any defense or healing en route.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I fully buy this. As it currently sits. Like... This could be an interim board, of course. The fact that they're holding the chainswords suggests that they probably want to run Rule Sky. So I'm imagining the board is something like you hide a Rule Sky between a Cycle of Fate, and then you play the Rule Skies after it, so you don't have to find Chi or defense for your first Rule Sky.
Sure. That seems like it requires more pieces to hit than simply stapling a Divine Walk onto the board.
True.
So I don't know if I see the vision, but that is a way you can go about it. Or if you just want to keep getting back to unrestrained Clear Heart as fast as possible. It does have that upside with Cycle of Fate.
It defeats the Tension here. So we have Ming Ming on Death's Door with not a lot of internal injury stuff, actually. They haven't really found many pieces, just the single Heartbroken tune. Painful.
They have the Predicament Chord combo online, but yeah, no seethings, no cleavings really makes it a sketchy proposition. They just don't have the payoff.
Like, this is the sort of board that mono water just playing a Great Waves every turn and then a combined Rivers just kind of crushes most of the time, I think.
Well, they just found the Heavenly Morrow rhythm this very turn.
So they're not going to have the anti-chase ready.
Yes, yeah. I will note our Long Yao player still hasn't lost a fight since that round 8 breakthrough board that had the Moon Water with the double mirror flowers.
Yeah, we're sitting at 102 Destiny, so anyone that wants to defeat Long Yao is going to have to chunk through Dragon Scales 6 times.
But the crazy thing here is they actually haven't really found any pieces since then. They added in Chord Predicament to their arsenal, and that is it. Other than that, this is just their round 8 board carrying.
Yeah, this is 2 Mirror Flowers, Earth Dune. Just no one really putting up boards. I mean, it's a very, very upgraded Illusion Tune, which does go a very, very long way. Eventually, you do need to find a little bit more, but...
They really want Rule Sky and Chainsword, but
yes.
haven't hit it yet.
I think that this board is not like a great predicament board, just because of how much value Rule Sky and Chainsword would do for you. But I mean, if your opponent's not ready for it, you'll still get crushed by it.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to catch them off guard. I think the other reason it's such a bad predicament board is that slowing down your burst combo gives your opponent a window to just hit the block, which is often good enough to counter it if you can do it quickly enough.
Remember, it takes Liberty's first casualty. Ming is out. Looks like Blue Junction is down as well. This one... This is a bit of a struggle board from Snowball. If Snowball had access to Blossom Dance, this would look a little bit better, but might still be okay.
Can't say I've ever played this board before, no matter how many times I've played the characters. I've played that opening sequence of 5 cards, but I've never rounded it out with some dead formations and a hexproof.
Time is Snowball's enemy here. They are slowly starting to outscale the Tension.
Yeah, the scaling's slow enough that if it catches them at the wrong round.
There we go.
Okay.
We eventually get them. That is the Avatar popped. Sad we didn't get to see this vision come to pass. Tension now online. We're no longer playing around. We have our Echoes, we have our Great Spirit,
They got,
we have our Escape Plan.
yeah, the second Echo. Now they can just play the brain off board. I mean,
Yeah.
they probably won't turn their brain off, but it's an option for them.
Yeah.
If they want.
This is why you queue up the character for this turn. Yeah, see you in hell every other card.
Eat some cards, draw some cards. Oh, they're not willing to eat one more to draw one. Never mind. Okay, there goes Anthemania.
Well, we're still slower than this Swooshing Zhe. This Earthquake could actually be pretty devastating. Chi Denial usually pretty good against this board. You hit at the right turn, you halve 6 chi down to 3 chi. This whole board stops functioning second cycle.
This board is remarkably resilient to almost everything in the game, and yes, Chi Denial is the one way I found to really cheese it with lower card quality. I'm not sure I've seen anything else. Of course, debatable how much Tsunami counts as lower card quality.
Well, Cliffs do a very good job against Illusion Tune.
Oh, that's very funny. Yeah, you don't even need them to attack into the cliff. Just the halving of defense is enough to chip off for them.
So, the Tsunami board defeated by Xian. Sorry, Earthquake Tsunami, you did your best. Momo fighting up against Mono Earth with what looks like no access to chases at the moment. So that's not great for Wu Jingzhe. We did take a cheat death though, so we have extra.
They are missing 4 out of the 4 needed gold cards for this board to really take off, and even then, it's still an auto loss against the Illusion Tune Quarrel Sword board.
Well, Momo is not Formation Master, which means the gap is a little less significant than it might be if she was. So as a result, there might be room in here to just run a board that just is like cycling through Combined Worlds and steeps rapidly enough to scale up. Maybe you don't need the Combined World. One problem I see with this board is there's a turn where you're going to play Quicksand, and you will make no defense. Which
I'll make 2.
That's true. That is true. You will make 2. I stand corrected. You'll make 2 defense. And I feel like that is a very good way to get one shot.
Yes, it is. It's worrisome that they feel they need to cut a Combined World in order just to get enough scaling for Quicksand to kill. They're just playing the 2 cards that, or rather 2 copies of the 1 card that scales exponentially your block.
Yeah.
But if you're in that situation and can't play it alongside Combined Worlds, you're probably dead.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll staring down the 1-2 puncher predicament and Rup Sprite. So they've preemptively cut the UWF.
I agree, and Bloody, I think it is a very reasonable call. Nonetheless, you're probably dead when it is the call. Alright, they did manage to get enough chases off this board. It feels like the Illusion Tune board is probably actually pretty favored against the HHH1, right? It's just a little slow to get in there shipping block off, and it doesn't get the guard up until, what, turn 5 from the second escape plan play?
I don't know, because you play the HHH on 1, and then on 2 you get your first swing with the only traces, right? and then on 3 you...
Yeah, but it's not very strong until turn 3 where you get a good attack. But I suppose turn 3 chipping off block with strong hits is good enough. Just so long as you go first.
I would say that the Tianxian's probably got the edge. The speed slightly favors Long Yao now, but that'll get worse as the game goes on. We're seeing Mono Earth against HHH. That was actually enough to break the Avatar, wasn't it? It was a full HP loss. Unlucky. This board got significantly stronger. I don't know what this...
Did it?
Well, the HHH and the Echo formations both upgraded.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
not the HHH. It was upgraded the round before.
Oh, yes, you're correct. You're correct. Yes. Well, certainly not unhappy about that.
So maybe Mobo can take another top 3 with a third 5e character in a row. It's looking
pretty good.
Possible.
They have a round to give. I mean, they're locked for top 4 because one of these people gets eliminated here. So that's already a really good start. Then Mono Water into Illusion Tune. Mono Water's a bit slow to ramp up most of the time, especially if you're slower. Now, I'm not sure if Momo is slower than this Long Yao. I think they're probably a little bit faster since they took speed on 4 and 5.
They took Inheritance of Water on 4 and 5, right?
Yeah.
They I think are probably a little quicker.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know if Momo's picked up any cultivation elixirs. Senpai says Mono Water wins the matchup. I believe Senpai.
As long as you can comfortably go first, it should be okay. Because turn 1 will be Maro, turn 2 will be the water form into a Great Waves, and turn 3 will be another Great Waves into a dive. And that's adequately chipping defense, and you've dived to the hits. You should be okay then. Going second, there's really not a lot of way to do with that. Second Great Waves is most of the defense chip, and the dive is obviously diving a 2-hit burst combo.
Well, speaking of card quality, this board got a lot of card quality by finding 2 Rule Skies and a Chainsword. So that is now a much more fearsome game. Much more fearsome board.
Well, it looks like what actually happened to them is they got Predicament mind gamed, because you'll notice Mobo cut his Heavenly Maro rhythm.
True.
For that round only. And
yes.
And I mean, Long Yao was known to have Chord and Tune predicaments, and there's no other reason they'd cut one.
Maybe. Finding these is a good reason to consider cutting it, I think. But I do think you're probably right.
Sure. The point stands. I believe Momo just lost to a predicament.
Yes,
game.
absolutely.
And now they're playing a better informed predicament mind game. They could still get mind gamed, but they at least know that the other side has very functional chases to you.
Yes. Okay, so here we're speaking of mind games. Here we're seeing another predicament mind game going on.
Yes,
we're
hedging
moving.
for predicament.
Yeah. There is also this upgraded Rup Sprite. Jesus. Chainswords. Which you could consider playing against the board from the previous turn. Obviously here it's really bad into how Tianxian has arranged their board. If you try to snipe them with Rup Sprite, you're just gonna whiff on this board.
Long Yao. That last slot should be the second Chainsword. It's strictly better. What are you doing?
Maybe she doesn't want to flex. A little embarrassed about these draws.
I think more likely than not wanting the flex is that they this is the visual bug that we're seeing. We have seen that it doesn't necessarily update points on.
There we go. You did it, chat. All right. Just to see who wins between Nangongcheng and Momo. I think Nangongcheng's board's probably got the edge. They're faster than Momo. But this dive comes out a little bit late. Momo's card quality is pretty high.
again, going first is such a huge deal because that second Great Waves encompasses most of the board's damage, right? The Great Waves scale your damage quadratically, so the first one's not very impactful, and then you want to get under dive rapidly enough.
Unfortunate, but a top 4 for Momo. This matchup looks like it's going the way of Xian. They've survived the first round of Burst, which is usually the hard part. Though their board's
The
not...
crazy thing is that it's going the way of Xian despite having guessed wrong on Predicament.
Well,
I say
on
this
top
right
of
as
that,
they die.
on top of that, spending a turn playing an empty Drag Moon and then following it up with HHH let the Long Yao accrue enough defense to punch through the Illusion Tune block and finish them off. Which is a very odd way for that to go.
Really, it's just more people getting mind gamed by Illusion too. Or sorry, by Predicament.
Well, speaking of mind games, we do not even have Predicament in our hands.
It makes a very strong lesson, this game, right? That when you're considering getting mind gamed by Predicament with specifically this board, you should stop viewing it as a 50-50 because Rule Sky and Chainsword do so much for them that they are more incentivized to play on that side. Maybe view it as like an 80-20 or something when you're in that spot.
I think once you see like a level 2 Rule Sky, it kind of comes to... There's kind of a point where you just have to say, I'm going to play into Predicament, because they give up so much to not play the Rule Sky that just respecting Predicament gives them so much. Yeah. Alright, well, Long Yao takes it down.
Yep.
Long Yao
see Long Yao saying, nice guard up, nerd.